In less than 2 weeks, we grew nutritious microgreens in 4 different mediums, starting with paper napkins, cotton fabric, but you can also use muslin, bamboo mat, and lastly, hemp mat. We also used 2 different types of trays, a microgreen tray with drainage and a clear dome. And if you don't have this, you can use what's available in your house like a glass casserole dish and parchment paper. To sterilize the mediums and reduce the chance of molds, we first soak each medium in water and about a teaspoon of vinegar. These aren't the only mediums that you can use to grow microgreens. You can also use soil or coco coir. The reasons why we went with these mediums is because they're less messy. You can pretty much get paper napkins for free from most restaurants. They are one-time use and you can compost them afterwards. Cotton cloth or muslin fabric are great because they're reusable and you can use them over and over again. Hemp mats are sustainably sourced and they are made from hemp fibers. They are compostable. You can use them one time, which means you have to repurchase them again. Bamboo mats is made with bamboo fibers. They are similar to hemp fibers. You can use them one time. They are compostable, but you do have to purchase them too. When each medium has been soaked in water and vinegar solution well, start laying them out in your trays. For paper napkins, use about 2 to 3 layers because they can dry really quickly. Now it's time to start sprinkling the microgreen seeds. We went with 4 different varieties: alfalfa, peas, kale, and arugula. If you want to grow dense micro seeds, sprinkle a lot of seeds and cover as much area as possible. Then sprinkle the seeds with cold water and give it a good soak. Afterwards, cover with a dome or parchment paper. All these seeds can also be grown as sprout in a jar. The difference between a sprout and microgreen is that sprout only takes a few days and most leaves will be underdeveloped. Microgreens, on the other hand, are grown a lot longer and you harvest them at a certain height or when the true leaves start to appear. Both are highly nutritious. So it's really just a stage of growth. The first few days they'll be called a sprout, and beyond that they'll turn into microgreens. If you want to add a nutrient solution to grow your microgreens, you can, but you don't necessarily need it if you don't have one. Microgreens are highly nutritious, and all the nutrients come from the seeds. In about a week or two, by the time you harvest, all that nutrients is available in the leaves and stems. And for the first 2 days, you won't need any source of light. You can do a blackout and place your tray under a dark, cold area, or you can just leave it in a counter. Most growers will also add a layer up tray and add weight on top of the seeds, which will help push the roots down for the first day or two. But for me, I usually skip all that part. To grow microgreens, all you really need to do is maintain moisture. So every day I spray it with cold water in the morning and nighttime so that the mediums don't dry out, and it's okay to over soak it just a little bit. For day 2, I still have the cover on because it helps create that humid environment. The humidity will help the seed sprout and give you a higher germination rate. And again, just maintain that moisture. I like using the bottle spray because I can control how much water I put in, and it also doesn't disturb the seeds. By day 3, the cover is still on. I'm repeating the same step, watering it in the morning and at nighttime. By day 3 or 4, a light source is needed. You can place your microgreen tray in a bright sunny window, or you can also use a grow light. If you are using a bright sunny window, make sure you rotate the tray for even light exposure. And by this time, you can also choose to remove the dome. But if you want to keep it on, make sure you ventilate it a little bit. So with microgreens, there is a chance that it can get moldy, and this is likely due to too much moisture or lack of airflow. So if you start noticing mold growing in the medium, here's what you can do. First, remove the dome or cover and allow more airflow to come in. Then, add 1 tablespoon of white vinegar into your water bottle sprayer. Give it a good mix and spray your medium with this solution. Do this twice a day for about 2 days. When molds are no longer present, you can go back with just watering with cold water. By about a week, you should be able to start harvesting. And one way you can tell harvest is ready is either by the height of the seedlings, taste it for flavor. If they're grown too long, they can start to taste bitter. And lastly, when true leaves start to form, they're usually ready for harvest. So regardless of what tray or mediums I use, they all turned out really great. Microgreens are really easy to grow. You don't have to be a professional to do it, and you can even use materials that are available in your house. Peas can be harvested when they're about 8-inch tall. You want to cut them just above the leaf nodes because you can grow it for a second time. You can store your microgreens in a Ziploc bag or containers in the fridge and they'll last much longer. The kale in bamboo mats grew really nicely. And using the water and vinegar solution, we were able to safely remove the mold. The bamboo mat was a little bit harder to pull out, and tiny fibers ended up on the roots. Again, the hemp mat is similar to the bamboo mat. When you pull the roots, the fibers will come with it too. The alfalfa grown in cotton cloth grew nicely without any issues at all. Out of all these mediums, my preferred choice is the cotton cloth. It was a lot easier to harvest it with very little microgreens wasted. Cleaning was a breeze as well. All I had to do was give it a quick rinse. And the best part about this is that I can reuse it over and over again. All I have to do to sterilize it is boil it in hot water. And lastly, the arugula grown in paper napkin was fine as well. The paper mat is great that it's free, but you can't pull the roots out, which means that the yield is a lot lower. The other mediums will end up in my compost bin. Microgreens are best eaten fresh. They can be used as garnish, added to your soup, salad, sandwich, or eat them directly for a light, healthy snack. If you ever tried growing in any of these mediums, let me know how it turned out for you. To learn about indoor and outdoor gardening, follow us at Planted in the Garden for more.